Hi, I'm Larry Lettich. Very recently, the wife of a man with ADHD said to me, just to get him to do anything, I have to ask him 100 times. I hate having to nag like this. Sound familiar? It's a very common problem for couples dealing with ADHD. In this video, I'm going to give you a few suggestions for how to make that better. But first, let me tell you about my dad and my stepmother, Belle. My dad, his real name was Abraham, but everybody called him Al, had absolutely gonzo inattentive ADHD. And Belle, well, let me tell you about Belle. Belle stood 4 foot 9 inches tall, had dyed red hair teased up into a big frizzy beehive 6 inches above her head. And she had this small, puckery bee sting of a mouth, the same color as her hair, that always looked like she just sucked a lemon. Now, Belle, like everybody else, had a hard time getting my father's attention. So at least a dozen times a day, I would hear her say, "Ow! Ow!" I swear that voice of hers could cut glass. The thing is, given her personality, I don't think it bothered her that much that she was always saying, "Ow!" like that. That's just kind of the way she was. And to tell you the truth, I don't think it bothered my father much either. So it worked for them. But I'm guessing that you probably don't like it when you start to sound like Belle. And if you're the one with ADHD, I bet you start to get upset when you feel like your spouse is nagging you a lot. So what can the two of you do? First, I have to tell you honestly that for most ADDers, medication really helps with this problem. It doesn't eliminate it, but it helps. I take it, I admit that. And a number of years ago, though, I thought I had beaten this ADHD thing, and I quit taking meds. A few months later, my wife came to me and said, "Larry, you got to go back on your medication." I asked her why, and she said, "Sorry, hon, but I'm starting to go out of my mind. Just to get you to one little thing, I have to ask you 9 or 10 times, and each time, it's like the first time you ever heard it." I said to her, "Really?" And she gave me this look. You know, the look. Then she said, "Honey, I love you, but the way things have been going lately, I've been thinking that I'm either going to have to divorce you or strangle you." I filled my prescription again, and things got a lot better. But the problem didn't totally go away. And maybe you can't or don't want to take medication. So what else can each of you do? I'll start with you spouses of the person with ADHD. First, stay calm. You may be repeating yourself a lot, but if you really understand that your ADD spouse isn't doing this because he doesn't really care enough or because he's selfish or immature, you won't feel so hurt and angry. If you don't feel so hurt and angry, your spouse is probably not going to get so defensive. If he or she still gets defensive, you can spell it out for them. "I'm not angry at you. I just need you to do this." Firm, gentle pressure, like water pressure, is the best way to accomplish things with the least amount of stress. These ideas, by the way, work with ADD kids as well. So if you have a kid with ADD, you can use it with them too. One way to increase the chance that your spouse or child will hear you the first time is to make sure that they are looking right at you when you say it and to touch them. A light touch on a hand or arm increases attention and retention. If you've asked for something twice or 3 times and it hasn't been done, the next time you can say, "This is the 3rd or 4th time I'm asking you to do this. Is there something in the way?" ADDers are notorious for having weird blocks around doing things, which is something I talk about in a different video. But they don't realize they have a block. So they say yes, 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 sincerely thinking that they will do something, and then they fail to do it forever. So seriously, ask your ADHD spouse without judgment if there's something in the way of getting something done, and encourage them to figure it out. It may be something as simple as they don't know how to get started. Another technique that works for both spouses and kids are for those times when you get the answer, "I'll do it later." Is that something you've heard? Since there are only two times in the ADHD brain, now and not now, later never comes. The way to deal with later, especially with your teen, is to openly ask, "When can you do it?" Get them to give you a time, maybe in 30 minutes, or an hour, or later that evening, a time that you are okay with. So now they've made an agreement with you. Follow through at that time and remind them calmly that they made that agreement. You'll probably get a whole lot less flack since they'll know that you are willing to negotiate with them. This is something you can do with your spouse as well at times, but at other times, it may just be better to say, "Why not now?" Now for you ADDers, you're not off the hook here. What can you do to make this better? First, resist the urge to resist and get defensive. Face the fact that you have a problem in this area. If she's telling you that she's asked you 5 times already, don't tell her that she didn't. She did. You just don't remember. Or maybe she did 4 times, okay? But telling her so is only going to make her go nuts. The only sensible, emotionally intelligent thing to do in this situation is to say, "Okay, I'm sorry, I'll do it now," and go do it. And after you've done it, you can come back and say, "It's done. You still love me?" If you feel like you're getting nagged, it's because he or she really needs something from you. So even if she's not telling you in the nicest way, cut her some slack. It takes guts to admit you have a problem. If you actually admit you have this problem and you've worked with her over time to improve in this area, she will probably get calmed down and get less critical. Okay, that's it. Try these things out and see if they work. And if they don't, you can always try saying,